31 days till the fiscal cliff, the threat of sequestration largely being ignored. Automatic spending cuts to the tune of $1.2 trillion over 10 years, half of those cuts coming from our defense budget. Joining me now to discuss the impact on our military, national security, we're joined by Admiral James Lyons, retired commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Admiral, great to have you back with us. Your thoughts on the impact of sequestration, if indeed it goes into effect here?
Well, in the words of the Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, this will be a disaster. What the Obama administration is doing is unilaterally reducing the military capability of our forces. And this is at a time when we have China, with its massive force expansion, building a world-capable force projection capability. We have Putin modernizing the Russian forces. We still have the Iranian problem totally unresolved. North Korea is always a flashpoint. And look at the Middle East. Anything far from being settled there. And let me take the Navy as an example, which will be illustrative of the other forces, with what it will do to the Navy. It will take the Navy and drive it down to the smallest force it has had since prior to World War I. Not World War II, Lou, World War I.
You know, when Governor Romney, I'm sorry, Admiral, when Governor Romney said that, pointed that out to President Obama in the debate, he was reminded, but we had horses and bayonets too. He seemed to make light of that. How important is it? Can you give us a sense of the impact?
Well, I think the president's comment only shows his inexperience in military matters. And in this particular case, we're going down to 220 ships. And to put that number in perspective, I had 255 ships under my command in the Pacific Fleet. 20% of those 220 ships will be the littoral combat ships, which basically have no offensive or defensive capability. We are going to be challenged where we show weakness. And let me give you an example. Just today, China announced, effective 1 January, they have authorized their paramilitary naval forces and their police to stop all vessels in the South China Sea that they consider to be there illegally if they haven't requested permission. This must be rejected in the most strongest terms. This hits at the core capability of international maritime law on freedom of transit and freedom of navigation rights.
Admiral, we have not heard from the State Department or the White House on that challenge. I do want to turn to one statement by, however, though. You mentioned Defense Secretary Leon Panetta. He said the United States should have what he called an enduring presence in Afghanistan to pursue the counterterrorism effort, the long war that has become the fashion of the last two administrations. Your thoughts as we wrap up here?
Let me tell you about this enlightened theory of warfare, counterinsurgency. What it is, in effect, we are trading our American brave military lives with the restricted rules of engagement in the hope of winning the hearts and minds of a tribal society. This is crazy. Your first responsibility is to the protection and safety of your own men and women.
Admiral, terrific of you to be here, and we appreciate, and I know that many of our forces, if not nearly all, appreciate what you just said about long wars. Admiral James Lyons, thank you.